this past weekend, so that, like I said, this was a fantastic card.
Great London card.
Everything about it was great. But this last weekend we had a card in... I don't know where it was. Nashville, Tennessee. And there must be better stuff to do because this one wasn't as good as the last one. But Fight Night 148 on ESPN Plus. The first ranked fighters we saw were Eric Shelton and Jordan Espinoza, and this is a flyweight fight. So at least the UFC's still having flyweight fights, even if maybe there won't be a flyweight division. But they do still have the fights. Shelton took a nut shot and an eye poke in this game or this fight, and then lost, which sucks.
It was another one of those fights that Shelton had everything set up and prepared right to win this fight, and everything that could have went wrong did. A nut shot and an eye poke, not going to help your game in a game like this. Espinoza, I think, did his job, but yeah, I mean, this was a kind of a tough fight to open up with, honestly. This was not my favorite. Two guys that could have really made a standout, kind of like we talked about last fight, but yeah, not really my favorite in that division.
Yeah, it was not an entertaining fight, I didn't think. No one really did much damage. Both of them are in crazy good shape. That was
those guys were definitely eating the Wheaties.
Overall, I didn't think it was very impressive. No. Jordan Espinoza did win by decision.
Yep.
And I think that was his first fight in the UFC.
Yes.
So he's going to be looking to move up the flyweight ranks because they're pretty shallow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We had Ronda Marcos and Angela Hill after that.
Yeah.
And I actually thought Angela Hill was going to perform better. The fight I saw her against Jessica Andrade, I was so impressed by how she hung in there. She looked tough, and I don't know. This fight, she just got taken down and submitted.
Angela Hill, she's had an ups and downs, and she's also been around for a while. She was on the Ultimate Fighter, obviously, for the women in the strawweight, and I think Angela's biggest problem is a lot of fights that she needs to win, she doesn't win. And this was, Marcos hasn't been murdering it either. She's been around, she's been a name, she's entertaining to watch, but she's not been somebody that's been hurting people in the division. I think that fight, Marcos is ranked 15th. So she's going to move up, obviously, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 spots, depending on what Felice Herring does here. Cavallillo just moved up, and Alexia Grasso. It's some movement for Marcos for sure. Angela Hill, I don't know. I hate to say it. I don't know if she'll ever get back in the 15.
Oh, I don't know if she'll get back in the octagon. I mean, she's looked good in losses, and this time she didn't even look good. I mean,
it's just hard for me to latch on to say that even if this girl won 4 fights in a row right now, I don't even think she could hang with a Felice Herring.
Yeah, I think that her time's up. She's past her prime, and
it sucks because she used to be very enjoyable to watch, but I just don't know if it's there anymore.
Yep. I know you were impressed by the next fighter, Marlon Vera. Knocked out Frankie Saenz in the very first round, I believe.
Yeah, I called it to say because I watched the last fight with Marlon, and he is just such a long, fast, aggressive guy to where he wants to get in your face. Even if he gets clipped, he gets hesitant, and then he gets right back in it. I think at his size, his movement, and everything else, and I know you thought it was greedy, I think this guy, not anytime within this year, not even maybe next early year, I think by 2021, I'm calling it, this guy's going to have the belt.
Yeah, in the bantamweight division.
In the bantamweight division, for the way that he fights and just how aggressive he is, I really think that this guy, maybe he doesn't get that belt, but I'm telling you, he will be a top 5 guy in 2 more fights.
Yeah.
Especially in the bantamweight.
Looks to have potential. We'll see. There are some guys up there at the top of the bantamweight division that might disagree.
It's a different division once you pass 10.
Yeah, right. It changes at that point.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view started with the debut of Maycee Barber, and she was fighting JJ Aldrich, which was a good fight.
It was a very good fight.
JJ Aldrich looked like a much slicker boxer. For the majority of the fight, she was just the better striker. She was clean. Having her way.
Very clean.
Yeah, clean, tight. And then Barber came up with some big shots and put her out, and that was the end of the fight.
Maycee's just overall punching power plus her elbows, because you obviously saw in her debut how much blood and how many cuts she had back there last October, November, I believe. This girl wants to wait and be patient and get dangerous. I don't think JJ had been expected to see somebody take a lot of jabs, take a lot of lower leg kicks, some moving around, and then snap right back and go full force. I think she just overwhelmed JJ, and also the ground and pound. It sucks for JJ because she was a good name in that division, and she still is, but that would have been a really fun fight to move her up with. But Maycee, again, now Maycee's got all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah.
She's got Dana White that says, hey, look, you didn't say I was going to
They're going to market her.
I'm in here. I'm entertaining. I got 2-0. Yeah, okay, well, let's go to 3-0. Let's go to 4-0. Let's talk until I lose.
Win by TKO.
I'm going to keep going. And you've had 2 TKOs in a row. And in that women's division, how many TKOs do you think are in a women's division in a year? Maybe 5. This girl's got 2 in under 7 months. Like, there is a lot of opportunity with this girl. And you know what? She's trying to be the new little mini Connor in the women form. Fuck it. Let it happen.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Might turn into something. Yeah. Luis Pena defeats Steven Peterson by decision. Luis missed weight.
Painting that picture, Violent Bob Ross. Painting that picture, you shouldn't have went to featherweight.
Yeah,
He was so lean at 155 cut as it was. To jump to 145, he's like his kidneys were not shriveled. I mean, he missed by 2.5 pounds. I thought it was closer to 3. He missed by 2.5 pounds. That's scary.
What did you think of the fight itself?
I talked to a lot of people about it. I think if Luis had a full tank, let's say it's at a 155, I think he beats that body up. He loves that front kick with those long legs. He likes the inside leg kicks. He's long. He touches you up, beats you inside, and then maybe gets a leg kick and knee. I don't think he had the power in himself. I think it stripped him of basically being that stronger, more powerful energy fighter. And I think, honestly, it was a fight that could have went either way. I just think that Luis threw a lot of shit, but it didn't really impact on my end. I don't think he really ever did anything outright. I won this fight.
You see the wind up and the flying knee?
Yeah. I mean, he was entertaining to watch, but I don't think that was his best performance. He said it was one of his worst performances, and he apologized for missing weight. Again, I don't want to keep putting that star over it. When you don't make weight, it's hard to get behind you when you win.
Yeah, I thought he looked good, not overly impressive, but I mean, he looked as impressive as I thought he would.
It's like Derek Lewis coming in at 480 pounds and he knocks out a guy that weighs 230. It's not going to be that cool.
After that, we saw Jussier from Formiga, and he beat Davison Figueiredo.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know where the winner of this fight goes because
oh my god,
the flyweight division is so who knows? I mean, Cejudo doesn't look interested in fighting the flyweight division. I guess Formiga now gets Joseph Benavidez, and they're gonna hope that there's a champion to fight afterwards.
Hoping that somebody's standing up top waiting to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those guys just to have Figueiredo, obviously have his first loss after all he's done. And I mean, he did not fight a bad fight. Formiga just was the better fighter that night. That's all it was. But
yeah, he was better.
I just, I think at the top up there with Cejudo's situation right now and then Benavidez, yeah, you have to. And the thing is, how soon do you make that fight? Are you going to be able to make another fight after?
And Saturday's co-main event was Curtis Blaydes and Justin Willis. My favorite part of the fight, honestly, was when Curtis Blaydes came out to the Mortal Kombat theme.
Yes.
The fight itself was pretty one-sided. Curtis Blaydes just wrestled him, beat him up for 15 minutes.
The pressure was huge.
Yeah, I was expecting more from Justin Willis. Didn't see it.
Talked a lot of shit to get into it.
Yeah, there was not much to see. I'm not sure what his game plan was, but whatever it was, it didn't work. I mean, it was.
It goes to show what you've talked about before, and I know you've always been on, especially the Overeem fight's a perfect example. The wrestling power and control. When you have a guy like Willis that he can just take down in that case and just keep down and say stay down, and Willis cannot use his punching power. He's getting tired, obviously. He's got nothing offensively to do, so Blaydes is just beating him up. This makes Blaydes look exactly like he used to. New upcomer, new style, powerful. There was no heavyweights doing that 10 years ago in that division. Curtis Blaydes is going in and taking guys down and winning fights by making them not be able to use their power. That's a different speed. But he'll also still knock you the fuck out.
Yeah.
So
Curtis Blaydes looked good. I mean,
he just looked sharp, and you know what? I had a lot of respect for him when Justin Willis was getting all chippy. I know Justin's trying to get himself promoted. Blaydes is like, okay, hey, just stop talking. We'll wait. We'll go. We'll fight, and I'll tell you what'll happen. But yeah, I think great win for Blaydes. Willis, I honestly think he's got to drop more weight. I think that extra weight is hurting him.
It's hard to see. It's hard to tell because he didn't do anything, so you don't know what he can do or what he can't do.
I've seen his other fights, like when he won against Sherman. Okay, I love Sherman to death, but Sherman is not a top 15 guy. He's barely a top 20 guy. So Justin Willis knocking him out is cool, but it's not fighting fucking Curtis Blaydes or fighting, even Steve.
He did get a Mark Hunt win, but yeah.
Mark Hunt win, though, is a Mark Hunt that's 5 years too deep.
Yep,
if this was Mark Hunt in 2010, I'd go, holy shit, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
So I think Justin Willis is close. I think Justin Willis has several more fights.
He's got a long way to go.
Yeah, because that is an old gauntlet, but it is not a fun gauntlet because anytime someone lands that
Curtis Blaydes is going to be there. He's not going anywhere. He's 27. He's like the young guy.
And he came back after an Ngannou knockout.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? It's not like this guy hasn't been put through the ringer.
What do you think Curtis Blaydes gets after this?
I don't know, man. I don't know if he should go and fight like a Stipe right now because Stipe's not getting the fights. But
that makes if Stipe is going to sign a fight, that one makes sense.
No, and the reason I say hesitantly because he wants Dos Santos because that's not a bigger profitable name. I think he knows that people like to watch Santos now back because he's getting hot again.
There's a lot of talk behind Santos, Dos Santos, and Francis Ngannou. Well, I think that fight's going to get made, honestly.
It depends on timing
because
and speed.
DC is not fighting anyone. He
just turned 40.
But he's the champion. You got to fight people if you're the champion.
And you and me talked about this. You have to. You have to stay active.
Yeah, if you're not the champion and you're the big name and you want to wait for fights, go for it, man. If you're the champion, you got to fight the next contender. And
my problem is when you have someone like Stipe, not enough Americans or outside the UFC get behind Stipe, which they should. He's a part-time firefighter. He held the longest contention heavyweight. There's something about him that people do not talk. Like, there's no one right now throwing up much as markability on Stipe. Let's get you a fight right now. Then you have other fighters. Santos is always online talking shit.
I don't think Stipe wants a fight. I think he wants the title fight.
I think he wants Cormier only. But why wouldn't he? He earned the time for that. He earned the reason to do that.
It comes down to if Stipe is going to accept the fight. I think the Curtis Blaydes-Stipe fight makes a lot of sense. They're both good wrestlers. They're both good strikers. I think it'd be a great fight. Whoever wins that, how do you deny him?
Yeah.
But it's going to depend on if Stipe even accepts a fight. Because I do think there's momentum behind Francis and Junior Dos Santos fighting.
Yep.
But Curtis Blaydes and Stipe, to me, makes a lot of sense. I don't know who else in that division you give Curtis Blaydes. Maybe the winner of Volkov and Overeem, if it's Volkov, but he just beat Overeem.
Well, that's the thing, is he's already done damage to Overeem. Volkov probably should win against Overeem. He wins that. That makes sense. But how long does that fight have to wait to happen?
Yeah, right. I mean, it depends on... Everything's moving slow in this division right now. There's not a whole lot of...
And it kind of has to because the DC...
Because DC.
Because DC. Because he's old and he's slow, and you know what?
He can beat the hell out of you.
He can do that. Yeah. Nice.
Main event, Showtime and Wonderboy. And
give me flashbacks to last time we talked about this.
So, Wonderboy was the biggest favorite on this card. Yes. Out of everyone, top to bottom.
Yes.
Showtime, Anthony Pettis, former lightweight champion, former UFC lightweight champion, former World Series of Fighting lightweight champion, was the biggest underdog on the card.
And new weight division, obviously. So
it's his first fight at middleweight. He's fought at featherweight before, fairly recently.
I told you, that's insane.
He comes into this as the biggest underdog on the card. It looks to me similar to the Till Masvidal fight. Like, actually, didn't he kick him in the nuts too?
Yes.
What?
Masvidal kicked him up in the opening.
No, did Pettis? No, that didn't happen.
No.
Okay.
I thought, only Masvidal did that.
So for the first two rounds, it looked like Wonderboy had the better of him. Was landing the bigger shots, had the range figured out more, was imposing his will, and then all of a sudden, Pettis knocks him out. Bounces off the back of the cage, typical Pettis style. He's calling it a kick punch, not a Superman punch, but it looked like a Superman punch to me.
It had enough power to be whatever the fuck
it was a Superman hook.
It
Superman hook. And just flatlined him. And then he jumped on him twice more for good measure.
Pettis was getting fucked up.
He says that it looked worse than it did, which makes sense. I mean, when your nose bleeds, it looks bad. There's a lot of blood coming up. It's got to make it tougher to breathe.
No, but that is something. That Tony Ferguson fight, you show how Pettis can take damage, but the thing that you didn't want to see is Pettis take damage early. He took damage late into the Ferguson fight. If he would broke his nose in the first 2 minutes, that fight's completely fucking different. He didn't. Just like you said, and that goes to also show as Pettis came in saying, I don't care what weight class I'm fighting in, I'm going to still fight Anthony Pettis style. Yeah,
and it's fun as hell to watch. Fuck. So this was the first time Wonderboy's ever been knocked out in his however many 20, 30 MMA fights.
Plus always Taekwondo and then the
kickboxing. He's got like
kickboxing.
50 kickboxing fights. It's a total of like 70 or 80 professional fights. He's never been knocked out. And Anthony Pettis, the little lightweight, came up and did it.
Yep.
And I thought, as opposed to the London card that we were talking about, which was a fantastic end to a fantastic card, this was an entertaining end to an unentertaining card.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. This fight was great. And Anthony Pettis is back, and he's got options.
Ton.
He's calling out the winner of the Gaethje Barboza fight, which is going to be great.
I think
that's a fantastic matchup.
I think that's a great call. I think if they don't want to get as greedy because they think, hey, we don't want to shoot all our bullets in one shot, is maybe take the winner of the RDA Kevin Lee fight. Let that happen. Let's say, Kevin Lee, hey, you prove yourself at the new weight division, and guess what? We have a really fun opponent. Somebody else that did the same fucking thing. Vice versa. RDA says, hey, Kevin Lee, go back down, man. You can't hang up here. RDA's like, okay, who's next? Pettis goes, I knocked out Wonderboy. Let me try you.
Well, RDA took his lightweight title.
Exactly.
He wants that fight back.
This is a redemption fight. Yeah. So I think, in my mind, let's say hypothetical, because obviously we've been right, because every fucking podcast we've done, we've got every fight right? So I think in my world, is RDA does starch Kevin Lee, or at least beats him by decision. Basically to say, hey, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I think RDA beats Kevin Lee.
Perfect timing right there for RDA to go ahead and fight Pettis. It's just it's so fucking marketable.
I think Pettis is going to wait. I think he's got 3 great fights.
What's he in a hurry for?
RDA getting that fight back. The winner of Barboza and Gaethje is everyone wants to see that in Masvidal if he stays at welterweight, because he can definitely stay at welterweight. He said he weighed less. Walking into the cage in this fight than he did against Tony Ferguson,
and that's scary.
So I mean, he can fight at lightweight. He can fight at welterweight. It's not going to be an issue. So yeah, he just needs to sit back and wait, and he'll be able to pick an opponent. And I heard an interview with him, and he doesn't want to fight boring fights. If he thinks he doesn't want, actually he trains with Ben Askren. He's come out and said that is the one welterweight he would not fight.
No, he knows.
He wants no part of that.
I want no part of that. I see what happens at my camp. Yeah. There's guys puking blood.
He said, I trained. He was my training partner for this guy or that guy, and I'm good. I'll save myself the embarrassment. Give me any other welterweight. I'm not afraid.
When you have a $500 Showtime tattoo on your back and your name is Showtime, and you do Showtime things like this weekend, and let alone have a highlight tape that wasn't even the UFC. Pettis knows exactly what lane to drive.
That's what he said. He just wants a fun fight for him.
I want the
this
fans
Thompson fight
to
was fun for him. It's going to be a fun puzzle to figure out with Wonderboy. Crazy weird ankles with Barboza or Gaethje, and then that fight back with RDA. I think that we have not seen the last of Anthony Pettis. Maybe not championship Anthony Pettis, but he is still top 10 wherever he is.
He'll back and forth. And the thing about it is Pettis has everything to gain right now because he won in another division he hasn't fought in. He's fought at featherweight. He's a 3-time fight divisioner. You don't get rid of a guy that diversified because all of a sudden, let's say someone calls up and like, hey, Connor says he wants to fight you, and this is 2 years from now. Yeah, I'm going to go lightweight. So Pettis has everything to just continue to play in his field. So I think awesome win, awesome knockout, Wonderboy class act. Even in the hospital, he goes, I don't even remember touching gloves. Like, fucker got clean. But he even looked up at Pettis. He was like, you did that?
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
He was, yeah.
But, like, you know, he was excited. He's like, you just knocked me out?
Man,
That's
I don't
cool.
even know how that happened.
I didn't know I was out.
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
But that's the cool thing. Now, here's a Dave Tanner question to you. Who's Wonderboy fight next after something like that? Because Wonderboy had been off for a tick since the Darren Till loss till, you know, that was in 18, but that was in April.
Yeah.
It was basically
almost a year ago.
So that's a long time fight. One, do you think he fights soon? Because his first knockout ever, so that might scare him to take some time off.
There's a fight night coming up in Carolina.
Yeah.
It's close to home. He wanted to be on it. And I think this knockout has changed his mind.
That hurt that.
I think that he is going to take time off and not rush back. I don't know where. Man.
But the thing that it scares me is he's 35 years old. So taking another year off, he's 36. He's still in very good prime. He takes one shitty fight, loses. Takes another year off, he's 38. Next thing you know, at 39 on his birthday, he retires. Like, this guy...
To me, Robbie Lawler's the fight.
I had that.
I know Wonderboy in the past has talked about how he wants to fight Robbie Lawler. It's just never been able to happen. The thing, is the timing going to work out? If Robbie wants to get back into the cage right now, if he's itching to get that out of that taste out of his mouth,
he's not done any damage in that aspect.
He's fine. He's ready to go. Wonderboy's going to want to wait for a bit, but I would love to see that fight. I think that's a fantastic fight to make. And I think Wonderboy, I know, wants it. I don't know if Robbie feels the same.
That's probably the most entertaining matchup because it's two guys that have wanted to fight, two classy guys, two very talented guys. If it was timing-wise and this was not Thompson and he takes years off, I'd have him fight fucking Askren next.
Yeah,
I'd have him
I want anyone to fight Ben Askren.
No, and I agree. And I think you have somebody like him that's like, I'm coming off a loss. Because in my mind, man, I don't take the Tyron Woodley loss or the draw as something bad in his career.
The draw was not. The loss was not good. The loss was not good.
No, but the thing
the draw
is,
was a fun fight. That was good. That was impressive.
On decision. That was a tough fucking fight.
That was a close fight.
He could have been out.
And he could have won.
Yeah. This Pettis, different ballgame, but that does not mean that you.
No, that was a good. I mean, he was winning the fight.
You do not tell Stephen Thompson go back down to 8. Like.
No, I could see him 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's my point. Is if timing works,
9, I could see him behind Robbie Lawler. I mean,
well, here's my thing.
The top 10 is just crazy in the welterweight division.
Askren wants to fight tomorrow. Stephen Thompson, especially after being
he's not going to fight soon.
Ever, he's not going to want to fight soon. So then you have to think, well, Stephen, by the time that you're going to be able to fight, and maybe somebody else hasn't got to fight, do you want to go and fight Ponzinibbio, or is somebody going to get Ponzinibbio in the time being?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Ponzinibbio needs to get a fight before then, I think.
But that's my problem is Ponzinibbio right now is a hot coal ready to burn. Okay, he fought in November. That's not that long ago, but guess what? When we get to May and we're just now announcing his fight for July, that's not good because that's a guy that's been ready and he hasn't fought in almost 12 months.
I really think there isn't a next opponent for Thompson. I think he just steps away for a bit and then comes back when the time's right. Yeah.
I mean, with the fucking 7-fight winning streak, why is no one talking about this?
Ponzinibbio?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. He needs.
And they're all in the UFC.
Yeah.
Every single
fight. He needs to fight Leon Edwards or Robbie Lawler or someone.
I mean, I get it. Some of the guys in the beginning, but that Gunnar Nelson, eye poke or not, he laid him the fuck out.
He doesn't have any top 10 wins. He needs to get a top 10 opponent and see what he's actually made of.
Really, a Neil Magny knockout to make Neil Nagli go limp?
Yeah,
that's fucking ginormous. Because Neil Magny,
you can only beat the people you're fighting.
Neil Magny is never a guy that's probably going to win the title, but he is definitely a guy that gives you a motherfucking hard time.
So that's Fight Night 148.
Like you said, I will agree with you. Not the greatest card, but it ended terrific.
Yeah,
So
it was a great main event. Yeah.